Nicholas is a good friend of Intrinsic Perennial Gardens, and he has a talk called Native North and South American Grasses. He went to St. George's College in Argentina. He studied veterinary science at the University of Buenos Aires, and he has a master's in agriculture from Texas A&M University. He majored in animal husbandry, genetics, agricultural economics, and range science. He lives on a family-owned farm in Buenos Aires province in central Argentina, and he's dedicated his life and interest to natural and ecological restoration. So thank you so much for coming and being with us today, and we're so happy to welcome you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Well, first I'd like to thank Brent to ask me to speak here. I've been coming here for the last, I think, 5 years, Brent, or 6 years. I come here to make use of him, really, in a way, because he provides me with plants which I don't have in Argentina. For those who don't know where the countries are, which is something that does happen. This is Argentina right here. So what that means is Argentina is a very long country and very different kinds of climate. If you compare Homestead or Cuba, let's say, right down to, well, it goes up to Canada, I would say. Okay, this is the province of Buenos Aires, and so this spot there, the red one, is where my family farm is. The origin of the Mulcahy's was a gentleman who came when he was 18 years old, and he's my grandfather. He was my grandfather on my father's side, and he arrived in 1867. So my grandfather was from 1867. So that's a long time ago. You see, there's a little town called Mulcahy there, and that's where there's a railway line, and my grandfather gave out the land to build that station. This is a satellite photo of the farm. Now, that is a house here. Can I do this? That's a house, and the rest is a park. But this is 10 hectares. That's about 20 acres. The rest outside, which is an important point, the rest, all you see green outside is agriculture. This used to be grassland. Argentina has all kinds of ecosystems, but this used to be grassland. So everything you see there is mostly being implanted by plants that come from other parts, either from the world or now, since I've been intervening in this, from Argentina. There is a trend at this moment in Argentina for garden design to be towards what we call naturalistic planting. Okay, I will compare what I do. I use a lot of since the United States is such a big country, they have a lot of climatical conditions, so I try and see where we are based on to see what type of plants I can get from the States. And somewhere in Georgia, that's Georgia, isn't it? Yeah, Georgia, somewhere there would be the place that we're in. ¿Me entendieron todo? Yo les estoy describiendo lo que hago en la Argentina y por qué. Nos conocemos porque yo he estado acá, pero lo que estoy diciendo es por qué estamos donde estoy ubicado yo, donde trabajo, es muy parecido a una zona que está en el sur de Georgia, ¿eh? Entonces trato de ver qué plantas se adaptan a la zona mía. Y también expliqué de que yo soy un fanático naturalista, entonces trato de, well, okay, what we have tried to do is keep, after my mother died in the year 2000, we have tried to keep up with what her objectives were, but change part of it to what my objectives are, or what I would say modern objectives are, which is trying to go back to nature. And going back to nature is something much more complicated than most people think when they're designing gardens. This is the kind of garden that my mother had. She wanted to build a little bit of England in those 20 acres of park. But these were the type of borders that she used to build, and she used to go out to go back to England and bring back everything you can imagine from there. Our objectives now are we try and keep the family tradition, my mom's work, a traditional English garden. But then here's what I intervene is that a word? I translate prioritize? Yeah. Okay, prioritize ecology, return to nature, create habitats. That's my main objective. And so so you have to have equilibrium, you have to have balances. And that is what I'm trying to see how we can restore that. The stress on the importance of ecological corridors as an objective is because if you're building habitats, you've got to try and get them connected, because otherwise the balance in there is very, very fragile. I think the word fragile is the most important one. So I'm also involved with naturalization process in garden design. And I do work a lot with trying to rebuild habitat for birds and for butterflies. So this I put in because this is one of my objectives, is to get that butterfly back into the area I'm in. This is a tropical butterfly, it's a morpho. And these are the caterpillars, and then they take about 8 months as caterpillars, so they're very exposed to the whole winter. They have to be eaten, so there have to be plants that have leaves for them to eat during all that period. Well, when you are doing habitat for birds and for butterflies, you need nectar plants. Everybody knows that. You need nectar plants because most butterflies eat nectar. Some of them eat decaying fruit. But anyway, these are the nectar plants that I'm using at the moment. Considerations for what I'm doing, which is less need for management, for cultivation in the areas I'm building for the habitats. So I have to try and have it's low management, I would call it. Sustainable long-lived plants is one, because my first ones are 15 years old already and they're still going. I need to do a few practices of getting some plants out, because some plants will get invasive. Some plants which are, the question of exotics being invasive is a farce in a way. What you need to do is combine a series of plants that will do what you need. And they don't have to be invasive, they have to be sustainable. The grasses are essential. The mixture of grasses are essential, and that's one of the reasons why I'm using quite a lot of grasses. Perennials, I prefer to annuals because annuals are very unpredictable. Some years you get the whole thing covered with them, and the other years there's nothing. Then very important to have, because our seasons start in October, butterflies start appearing in October, or they're already starting now at the moment, but I mean October would be one, and everything finishes when the first frosts come in at May, June. So it's a long season, and that's one of the big differences between your areas here, because our plants grow for a long time. So you can't have a plant having flowers for all that period, and so we use either continuous flowering plants or we use sequentials. I mean, start off with cantanthums, then we go on to, well, many other plants, but I must have plants flowering continually. Can be the same one, or it can be like a lantana. Lantana, you know lantanas? Yes. Yeah. Or ones that will flower in a shorter period, but at a given moment. I cannot have plants that are not flowering at that moment. Abundant and accessible nectar in the plants, and accessible nectar is in the plants, and then preference of purple, blue, yellow, orange, and deep-colored single-flower plants, so they are accessible to butterflies and to, what do you call these things, hummingbirds. They have to be resistant to drought. This is the first. Well, my mother, my sister, and other people who visit the farm prefer or like grass, cut grass. And for me, that is the worst ecological item that you can have. So at the beginning, I had to hide the places where I was doing, hide behind trees. But I was starting to do little places, but now I have now this is the first one. No, this came after the first hiding. This was allowed, and I'm one of the owners, so I can. This is about 15 years ago. Grasses for me are very important, because one of the things that you need also is refuge for two things. Refuge for animals. You need diversity, because what happens overground, there's a lot of it that happens underground, and the diversity makes a combination of things that make the plants live properly. What I like to see now, this is maybe 2 or 3 years old, but it's still, every year it grows, and all I do is add a few plants. I don't think I need to describe, you all know these plants, don't you? These are solidagos. One of them is rigida. There's solidago. I have one that I use a lot, which is fireworks. Solidago rugosa fireworks. There are some native plants in the area, in this combination. There are agastaches. This is a plant I like very much, and I guess you like them too. But I try and use the ones that are the more common ones. The more common, not too many of the ones that are hybrids, because the two things, hybridism and segregation and selecting, many times don't, they're being selected for different things than what the plant needs for an habitat. One of them is, I see many plants that don't have nectars, and they have to be very careful with that. Well, this is what I like seeing as well. These are Baccaris. Baccaris, these are American eupatoriums. And there are a lot of grasses at the back. What I see the difference between what I'm looking at seeing in the United States is that the type of naturalistic planting is rather smaller, shorter than what we have in Argentina, in that area, because there's such a long period that the plants will grow much more. Do you know this plant? No? That's Penicetum purpureum, which is produced by people in the south. Normally it's green from Africa. It's Napier grass, really, which was used for grazing. This is Miscanthus dixiland, that's cosmopolitan, and these are Panicum virgatum. I think that probably is Dallas Blues. Now here you have another combination. These are Pavonias. You have any Pavonias in this country? No. Pavonia missionum, and more grasses. Well, you know that one. That's Rudbeckia. And that's one of the problems it does. You see, you get plants that become very rampant sometimes, and then they don't. After they disappear, or they get much less. And that's because one of my objectives of this is where I get very frustrated, is that, where's my cross? Here. Is getting people, I get people to come and see this and pay and stay for 2 or 3 days. I teach them, I don't know the word teaching them, but anyway, I show them what I do. And what I try and do is promote this. What Roy Dibblick has told me, when I say, look, you have this plant for this, and I have this plant for that, and because I like it's for a certain bird or a certain butterfly to be happy there, and he said, he told me, remember, you got to enthuse the humans. And that is right. But so whenever I choose a plant to plant here, I actually try and see if it has an ecological value. Well, and I'm showing some of these are agastaches. These are Diclipteras. These are local plants. And many other things. That's Solidago rugosa fireworks. That's another agastacea, of which there are millions. Another photo of that. I think you recognize most of the plants here. That's Vernonia fasciculata, the one you have here. Okay, that's a plant. That's one of the plants that will last for a long time. I mean, a flower for a long time within a habitat. That's very important. That's one, both the previous and this one. One of the good things is lantanas will spread all over the place. Birds will take the seed, and these don't seed. In Argentina, we only have one Asclepia, Asclepia melodora, in the States you have 35, I think. So I come to the States to see which ones. This is a Senna hybrida, because I hybridized it. I didn't hybridize, I actually got one from a place where there was Corimbosa and Pendula, and I realized it was a hybrid. Has characteristics of both things. And this is a transition area, and that is the road coming out of the house. That's, you probably know it already, it's a very good salvia, African skies. That's the kind of thing I'm being able to put where before there were just tagetes. What do you call tagetes? Marigolds. Yeah. And then what I have done also is put a lot of host plants. These are, you don't know what you call them here, but they are Santosillums. I think they got prickly. What do you? But you have some that work on very cold areas as well. Okay. So these are different kinds of Santosillums that we have there. This is, well, what I try and do. What also, I need to enthuse other people to do this. So I got to go into grasses that look nice, and these, well, a lot of Americans are working on this. Brent is one of them, and these are these Cassicariums, sedums. That's the way we start working. This is in another farm which we planted, and this is what I do every spring. I did it 10 days ago. That's what it looks like now. I cut the whole thing down with a machine. And nobody believes me when they come and they see what I was showing before. They say, "No, you didn't cut this. It's impossible." Look, there it is. And I have a film of I have a machine that cuts it right down to about that size. It looks like a grassland. Something very important too. When you create habitats, you need protection. This is a local plant called Hodinia rompifolia. And this bird was did not exist in the area, but why did it come and do a nest there? Because of these thorns. Well, that's another fagara from Córdoba area. That's another fagaria. This is what happens when you have fagaras, because this butterfly is swallowtail. There's another one. Look at the way they eat. This is the senna. And that is, since I cannot take plants from here without just hiding them under the bag, I don't do it into the States. When I come from England to the States, I got to be very careful. But so I took seed. Well, some of the seed is from Brent. This one came from bluegrass. No, well, one of the cultivars there is here. But what I do is segregate them, and then you see here, these are segregated, and then I start choosing some, and then I reproduce them. I don't have laboratories that will do it for thousands. I need to do it myself by dividing, choosing, dividing. And this is a very important, 1 minute more. This is very important, is what your grasslands or naturalized areas look like in the winter. And it's very important for people to see this, because they think, what's going to happen in the winter? And well, this actually, I think probably the last photo. This is what I like seeing in my habitat. A combination of many, diversification is very important. There has to be something permanently interesting for certain animals. Yeah, that was all.